Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of La Verdad Sana podcast. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're coming back from a previous episode, thank you so much for all your love and support. As you can tell, I'm a little bit less nervous this time around. Um, I'm not as nervous as I was in my previous episodes, and I have been getting a lot of feedback from friends and family, and also, I've been getting some nice messages that kind of keep me motivated and, kind of keep wanting to do these things. Um, and also, I wanted to say one more thing, but my brain is not braining right now. Oh, that if you guys wanted to come out in an episode, just let me know if you guys want to talk about a certain topic or just have a genuine conversation about anything, let me know. I'm more than happy to have you guys. I know the last one, I secretly recorded my sister um because she gives like the best life advices. But something about her is she's very private about her life. She can be the best freaking judge, jury, whatever you want her to be. The best therapist for all I know. But she's very like I don't know, she's very picky with who she is that way, who she opens up to or who she like kind of gives those advice to. But today's theme is going to be when you get tired of helping people. I know it sounds a little bit harsh, but please don't judge me just yet because we're going to get into it. So, there's something that I don't think that we talk about enough, and it's like the tiredness that comes with always being the one people turn to, the one with the advice, the one who listens, the one who sees things clearly, even when others don't. At some point in my life, I became that person, and I don't even remember choosing it. It just kind of happened. People come to me when they're confused, hurt, stuck, or overwhelmed, and I show up fully. I don't mind it at all. It's cool. Like, I love it. I love giving advice to my best knowledge. And if I don't know the answer or if I don't know the exact advice to give, I always ask. I don't just randomly say, like, okay, do this and this without kind of doing the back work to it or kind of asking questions before. But it just happened. People come to me when they're confused, hurt, stuck, or overwhelmed, and I show up fully. I listen, I process, I think deeply before I speak, and I give advice with love, with intention, and with truth, because that's something that has always been taught to me. Um, but eventually, like, you get tired of it. Not tired of the people, though. You don't get tired of the people, but you get tired of repeating yourself. Tired of watching people ask for guidance and they're not ready to take it. Tired of pouring into someone's cup who keeps choosing the same pain. And it's that tiredness that comes with guilt, because we tell ourselves, if I really cared, I'd keep helping. But the truth is, helping starts to hurt when it's not being received. ¿Qué caso tiene darle tantos consejos a una persona si se les entra por un oído y se les sale por el otro? O te toman como loco. Y después vienen y de nuevo te piden el mismo consejo. I've learned that not everyone who asks for advice wants the truth. Because let's be real, sometimes the truth can be very fucking uncomfortable. And it can be uncomfortable, and it's like sometimes some people just just want comfort, you know? Some people just want reassurance. Some people just want permission to keep doing what they already decided to do. And there was a moment where I realized that my words weren't landing anymore. And not because they weren't true, but because the person wasn't ready to kind of listen to the advice that I was giving, or ready to understand the message that I was trying to, you know, come across with. And that's when something kind of shifted in me. But it also taught me something good, and it taught me something bad. The good is that I snapped the fuck out of it, you know? Because for a really long time, like, I held on to so much resentment, so much hate, you know, tanto pinche coraje, tanto odio, like rencor for certain family members, for certain people, you know, that came in my life, did me dirty, did my family dirty, you know, um, aunts, uncles, cousins, even, because I saw the way my mom was always that helping hand, you know. She was always the one to want to bring everybody with her, but not everybody deserved a place in her table. And I remember when shit hit the fan, when shit went sideways for us in our family. um I think nobody was truly there, you know. No cousins, no aunts, no uncles, nobody cared for my mom's kids, you know. And that's maybe a story for another time, but I kept it was like it's like that saying, you know, like, it's like you drinking the poison and expecting that person to, like, kind of feel the pain, or kind of, you know, for them to, like, feel the effect of the poison that you're drinking. Um and I was always so fucking mad all the time. All the damn time I was mad. I wanted to give up. I didn't come to my fucking senses because I just kept holding on to so much shit, so much anger, you know? And I think for so long, like, my family, even my mom, for a really long time, my mom would tell me, deja de ser tan enojona, deja de ser tan corajuda, like, stop being so mad all the time, stop being so, like, aggressive all the time, like, stop holding on to so much shit, so much anger, so much resentment, because it's not fucking benefiting you in any way possible. Like, you need to change, be different, like, fuck it, they did what they did, shit happened the way it happened, like, just fucking let it go, you know? And I didn't understand, like, I wasn't, I think maybe because I was very young, dumb, and naive, that I didn't fully understand the full message that my family and my mom were trying to, like, give me, and the advice that I would even get mad that they would give me advice, you know, like, stop being so fucking mad, like, just let that shit go, let shit go, like, just, wow, like, ya, ya, suéltalo, suéltalo, Ave María Purísima, ya, suéltalo del cerebro, de la cabeza, del espíritu, de todo, like, let that shit go. And I don't think I fully understood till there was one time that I had a conversation with my brother. And I remember he would always tell me, like, dude, just fucking be Elsa. let it go. Let it fucking go, dude. Like, just fucking let it go. The thing about my brother is like, he doesn't know how to give the best advice, but when he says something, like he means it from the heart. And I have never, ever seen my brother cry. And I remember we were drinking and I was crying so much because I was going through so much shit besides my family. Like, I was going through some other shit. Like, I just, like, I wanted to give up. Like, I just wanted to, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'm done living. Like, I'm tired. Like, I'm tired. And I remember my brother drinking with me and he was like, he started crying. And it gets me a little bit emotional because for my brother to cry or for him to get emotional, it's hard, you know, especially because he's a man. And I remember in that conversation, him saying, "You are our baby sister. We love you and we will always protect you, but you need to learn how to forgive and forget and let shit go, you know?" And I remember he gave me a kiss in my forehead, and I'll never forget that shit. And it's something that I don't really talk about or is something I've never mentioned to him, but it's something that I have engraved in my heart and in my mind that it kind of flicked the fucking switch in me. And I was like, fuck. For my brother to be this vulnerable and, you know, kind of like see the way he loves me, it's just like mind blowing. Like, it opens up another fucking level of love and respect that I have for my siblings, you know? And I don't really talk about him because he's very private about his life. And so is my sister. Um, but I love and I enjoy sharing stories with you guys about them. And that's when reality hit me, you know? I'm a very spiritual person and I believe in spirituality and, you know, the universe and, you know, I don't do evil because I am a big believer of karma as well, and I do believe that everything you fucking do in this lifetime, it's gonna come back to you 10 times worse. It might not be tomorrow, the next day, in a month, but eventually karma's a sneaky bitch. And I feel that in a way life, cuz look, a lot of people think being spiritual is like all unicorns and rainbows and beautiful flowers and, you know, all the nice shit in life. No, it's not. And it's not about fucking witchcraft. No. Being aligned with yourself and being spiritual, like, you gotta go through some rough shit to understand. Like life puts you in certain situations where it's like, it opens your fucking eyes. And it's not in a very nice way, you know? You have to go through pain. You have to go through a certain process to understand what it actually means to be spiritual. You know, it's a spiritual awakening. And not a lot of people are going to understand it. And it's okay. But I think that's when it hit me and I started like seeing everything differently. Like, it's okay. Like, it's like, okay, I went through this. What did this teach me? Okay, this person was in my life. What did this person teach me? Okay, you know, my childhood was rough, but it gave me thick skin. I'm gonna say something, and y'all better not laugh at me. I'm a big ass fucking crybaby, and I don't give a shit. I'm not embarrassed of it. I'm a Pisces. I'm a fucking Pisces, and it's just in my nature to fucking cry. But I am very strong. I do believe that. And I think it has to do a lot with also with my family, my siblings, my mom, you know, they never gave up on me. They never left me behind. They never pushed me to the side. They never Yes, it took a lot for me to finally snap out of it and understand, okay, fuck, like you're a hurt person hurting others, you know? That's when I finally realized, fuck, like, okay, evaluate my own fucking life and realize, you know what? This and this person, you're hurting them. This happened. You know, I've already gotten so many fucking life advice over the same situation, over the same thing, over the same person. And it's like, I need to learn to let go. And I didn't fully understand it until I came across a person, you know? I'm not naming names, you know, and if you know who this person is, you know who this person is. And if you don't, it's a perfect example. This person was, I considered them a very good friend, you know? They were hardworking, they were very strong, but they have a deadbeat baby daddy. That's their biggest, you know, su mayor defecto. Yeah, se podría decir. And we would always tell her, like, fuck him, dude, you know, like, he's not helping you um emotionally, he's not helping you financially, he's not helping you spiritually, he's not helping you in any fucking way possible, not even with your own fucking kids, you know? But it's like she kept fucking going over the same situation again and again and again and again with him. And it's like, it came to a point where it was just like, fuck, like, it's so fucking tiring. Like, ya, güey, ya, desapendéjate, deshazte ya de todas esas mamadas que estás pensando en tu cabeza, no va a funcionar y ya. I know this sounds ghetto, but it was like, ya, mándala a la chingada, you know? No te sirve como marido, no te sirve como papá, no te sirve como nada. Like, why do you still have him around, you know? And like, you're already fucking doing shit on your own. You're already kind of like being a parent, a present parent. You're already being a provider. You're already like being there for your kids, you know, helping them and everything. And it's like, you keep asking the same shit and expecting him to change, you know? And it's like, he's not going to change. Like, I'm sorry to say, but he's not going to fucking change. And I think it just got to a point where it was just like, eventually we had to kind of just let her hear what she wanted to hear, you know? If that's the love of your life, that's the love of your life, you know? It got to a point where it was so tiring and it was just like, I stopped trying to convince, I stopped over explaining, I stopped repeating myself, and instead, like, I just chose silence, you know? And not out of bitterness, not out of anger, not out of like resentment or anything, but out of self respect, you know? Because sometimes, like, the most loving thing you can do is let people hear what they want to hear and let life kind of teach them, you know? Teach them what your words can't. And it would be hypocrite for myself to say that I haven't gone through the same shit. But I think it was at that point where, yeah, I had supportive family members around, but it's like people around me didn't want to be around me because I was a fucking asshole, you know? I sometimes didn't fucking think before speaking. I didn't give a fuck about people's feelings, you know? I was a fucking asshole. Like, nobody wants to be around a fucking asshole. Nobody wants to fucking deal with my nasty ass fucking attitude. Nobody wants to fucking hear my big ass mouth, you know, and it doesn't mean that because you give up, trying to aconsejar people, it doesn't mean you don't care. It means that you understand that people grow in their own pace. Like, people need to go through certain things or certain situations to understand, and get that wake up call where it's like, okay, fuck. Tú quieres seguir sufriendo, sigue sufriendo la chingada. Tú quieres seguir repitiendo los mismos patrones, sigue repitiendo los mismos patrones. And I'm gonna say that shit in English too. You wanna keep suffering, keep fucking suffering. You wanna keep repeating patterns, by all means, keep repeating your same patterns. Síguete dándote en la madre hasta que te canses. And it's like, those little kids when you tell them like, no toques ahí, te vas a quemar. Don't touch that. You're gonna burn yourself. Que no toques, te vas a quemar. I said, don't touch that. You're gonna get burnt. And eventually you're just like, okay, fuck it. It is what it is. And you hear a fucking loud ass scream. What happened? I got burnt. Yep. Qué bueno. Por menso. Pa' que se le quite. And we have to learn that boundaries aren't abandonment, Stepping back isn't cruel. And choosing yourself doesn't make us selfish, Sometimes it's the best thing you can do. And just watch the lejitos. Once they learn, like I did, is when you're like, okay. It just means that, like, you and even we're not willing to lose ourselves anymore, to save someone else. And I think it took my family to, like, kind of step back also for me to understand, you know? And not just that, but there's a different kind of peace that comes when you just stop caring about people's choices. When you stop feeling responsible for outcomes that aren't yours. When you finally like redirect all that energy back into yourself. And I've realized something important, helping is only meaningful when it's actually welcomed, cuando alguien realmente quiere hacer un cambio, when somebody wants to actually like do things differently and change and stop repeating the same patterns over and over, you know? I think it took it took losing my mom, you know, to finally let go of all of that anger, all that resentment. Because for so long she would tell me like, Nicole, ya deja de ser así, Nicole, suelta todo eso, Nicole, cambia, hija, cambia, cambia. No seas tan negativa, no seas tan enojona, tan corajuda, pórtate bien con tus hermanos, like, no estés peleando con toda la gente, la gente ya no te va a querer hablar, no va a querer estar contigo. And when she was still here, like, I would hear it as a fucking nag all the damn time. I would just be like, ya va a empezar con lo mismo, And I think it took me to lose her as well for me to kind of say, you know what? My mother was right, you know? My mother was right. Why am I holding to all this shit, all this baggage that doesn't belong to me? It's never too late to change. There's people that maybe in their 30s, 40s are still holding on to something, someone, and they just keep repeating the same cycle, you know? I think it really needs to I think life really needs to kind of hit you or like something major for you to kind of wake up and realize like, okay, fuck, I can't keep wasting my life and time on the same thing, you know? But if you're also in that other side of the situation where you're tired, you know, where like you've had enough of like giving people the same advice over and over and over and over, and you're just like fucking tired of giving the same advice, you know, and you just don't know what to do at a certain point. I think the best thing to do is just to stay quiet, you know? It's okay to let people walk on their own path, even when you see where it's gonna lead, you know? Loving people doesn't mean carrying them, you know? And sometimes the truth we avoid saying out loud is the one that we need to live by ourselves, you know? And I hope this message really resonates with you guys. I hope that whether you're in a place where you're tired and like you just want to step back, it's okay to step back. You know, it's okay to kind of give up sometimes and just let people walk their own path. And if you're on the other side where you just keep asking the same advice or asking and asking and asking and asking, expecting a new outcome or expecting things to be different or things to change, whether if it's you're stuck in a place where you know that the environment is just not for you and you're staying there because you expect things to change, it's okay to leave. Whether it's a person that you're expecting them to change and for things to have a different outcome, for them to change, for them to kind of see what you want, even though is not what they want, or if you expect them to change because you stay there, you know, sometimes you just gotta learn to let go. I know it's hard, and I'm speaking from experience because I've stayed longer than I should have. I prayed for that person to change. I prayed for the situation to be different. I prayed for, and things just didn't happen because God didn't want them to happen that way. Because life doesn't sometimes work the way you want it if it's not from God, if it's not meant for you, if it's not meant to be in your life. And I would be a hypocrite if I were to say, like, I'm healed and I'm perfect. And no, because I've also been in those people's shoes, you know? I've also been in places where I should have left. because I expected the person to see things the way I saw them, because I wanted things to work out the way I wanted them to work out, because I'm a fucking stubborn person, because I am very berrinchuda and I want things my way. It's either my way or the highway. And life has a freaking funny way of smacking me across the face and saying, no, mija. Aquí mis chicharrones truenan y no los tuyos. And that's a harsh reality. I wish I could say that I've healed from it, but I'm still learning. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm learning how to put up boundaries. I'm still learning to, yes, I have boundaries, but in the sense of like, okay, fuck, like, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Yeah, give up, you know? I think the, like, there's no freaking prayer that God is gonna answer faster than this one. And I shit you not. And I have tested it out so many times that sometimes I'm scared to even say it. But I be saying, God, if this person is not for me, if I don't belong in this place, please remove them from my life. Please help me letting go. And it hurts like a motherfucker. But it's the fastest freaking prayer God has always answered, because I've always expected a different outcome. Or because I've always been scared that is not what I want to hear or how I want things to end. And other than that, I just want to thank you guys again so much for all your love and support. And if you guys want to come out in an episode, I'm more than happy to have you guys come in. I have a couple people that are joining us soon, and hopefully you guys enjoy them too. I appreciate the people who have given me feedback. I appreciate the people who have sent me really nice motivational messages. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. And remember that this is La Verdad Sana podcast. And today's truth is simple. You're allowed to choose peace over being understood. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.